tu. O, dobra. Dziękujemy Midnight Trust. A, jeszcze na Discordzie muszę się zadeklarować. Tarararam. Czytaj. Czytaj. Kowbojskie życie. Dobra, czas się przekonać, kim jest przyjaciel Warika. Hop, 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 hop. Co tam? Ktoś mnie wołał? Coś nowego po czciwe kalenie. Tak, co robią templariusze? Znaczy więcej robią, no ale... Co ty?
Prior to the Conclave, I'd only encountered Templars in the Circle. Do they do anything besides guard mages?
Templars protect against the dangers of magic. Before the Order left the Chantry, that meant serving in a circle. They were also tasked with tracking apostates, or fighting demons inevitably summoned by the weak or malicious.
You've made it clear that you consider mages a threat.
Any mage can be. I won't pretend otherwise. I've seen the suffering magic can inflict. I've treated mages with distrust because of it, at times without cause. That was unworthy of me. I will try not to do so here. Not that I want mages moving through our base completely unchecked. We need safeguards in place to protect people, including mages, from possession at the least.
Jakie minimum, oczywiście.
I know how I spent my time in the Circle, but what was a typical day?
Typical? The last time I was in a circle was right before it fell apart. Nothing was typical.
Before that, then?
Certain rituals require a full guard. A mage's harrowing, for instance. I've attended a few. Most of the time, you merely maintain a presence, on patrol or in the circle. Mages pretend to ignore that presence, but they're watching you just as closely.
We would spend all day with Templars, and yet they rarely spoke to us.
A habit often mistaken for coldness, I'm sure. But we are expected to keep us... If a mage is possessed or uses blood magic, you must act quickly, without hesitation. Of course, ignoring one another does nothing to foster understanding.
Why did you...
I could think of no better calling than to protect those in need. At first, they merely humored me. The Knight Captain spoke to my parents on my behalf. I was 13 when I left home.
Dość młodo.
13?
I wasn't the youngest there. Some children are promised to the Order. Still, I didn't take on full responsibilities until I was 18. The Order sees you trained and educated first.
What about your family?
Of course, but there were many my age who felt the same. We learned to look out for one another.
What is Templar?
There is weapon and combat training. Even without their abilities, Templars are among the best. Initiates must also memorize portions of the Chant of Light, study history, and improve their mental focus.
Did you enjoy?
I wanted to learn everything. If I was giving...
You were a model student.
Watching a candle burn down while reciting the chant of I admit, my mind sometimes wandered.
Do Templars take vows? I swear to the Maker to what?
There's a vigil first. You're meant to be at peace during that. When it's over, you give yourself to a life of service. That's when you're given a filter, your first draft of lyrium. As Templars, we are not to seek wealth or acknowledgement. Our lives belong to the Maker.
That's all I wanted.
I'm sure you have up.
I w tym momencie niektórzy postanowili wziąć sobie czerwone lyrium zamiast normalnego, rozumiem? Dobra, gdzie by ten warik? Będzie na górze. Tak. Tutaj. No wprost jest szybkie przejście, widzę. Tędy? Chyba tędy będzie najszybciej. I witam, Halko.
Fertile ground even here. This hold has everything.
Dobra, jak się tam dostać? Pewnie drugą stronę. Jakieś schody są? A, tam są schody, dobra. Już niedługo. Zamówiłem nowy RAM, ale pewnie przyjdzie po weekendzie. Chyba, że jutro, ale to już nie będzie. Idę do Warika. Ale chyba coś źle zrobiłem. Tak, wiem, też nie jest idealnie w ten sposób grać. Ulica Gradu, przy tawernie schodki w górę. To jest tawerna? Coś jest nie tak. Patrzymy na mapie. Starting przed nią. Chyba widziałem Harding gdzieś. Na pewno tam się nie da skoczyć, tak? Taki skrót? Jeszcze raz spróbuję, bo wydaje mi się to możliwe. O! Widzisz? Ale nie tak dłużej. Dobra. O, czyli to jednak bohater kilkuł. Standardowy czy niestandardowy? To nie jest mój save, więc może nie będzie standardowy. Jak będę grał sobie z tymi moimi statami świata, to wtedy będzie niestandard.
Inquisitor, meet Hawk, champion of Kirkwall.
Though I don't use that title much anymore.
Dlaczego?
Hawk, the Inquisitor. I figured you might have some friendly advice about Corypheus. You and I did fight him after all.
Oj tak, on ma wiele do powiedzenia.
This view reminds me of my home in Kirkwall. I had a balcony that overlooked the whole city. I loved it at first.
But after a while, all I could see were the people out there depending on me.
If I thought like that, I'd never get anything done.
How do you put it out of your head?
I go out into the wilderness and find something that wants to kill me. That usually clears my mind.
It always worked for me. And speaking of things that want to kill you...
Varric said that you fought Corypheus before.
Fought and killed. The Grey Wardens were holding him, and he somehow used his connection to the Darkspawn to influence them.
Corypheus got into their heads, messed with their minds, turned them against each other.
If the Wardens have disappeared, they could have fallen under his control again.
No coś takiego było chyba w tym... w Dragon Keepie. Do zaznaczenia, że on był albo jakiś, nie wiem... No w zależności jak rozwiązywał sprawy. To może mu się charakter zmienia w ten sposób. A, czyli mówisz, że to ostatnio jest memowy śmieszkowy gej, tak? A humorkowy w takim razie nie jest memowy?
So Corypheus has the Venatori, the Red Templars, and now possibly the Wardens as well. Wonderful.
I didn't come this far just to give you bad news. I've got a friend in the Wardens. He was investigating something unrelated for me. His name is Stroud. The last time we spoke, he was worried about corruption in the Warden ranks. Since then, nothing.
Corypheus would certainly qualify as corruption in the ranks. Did your friend disappear with them?
No. He told me he'd be hiding in an old smuggler's cave near Crestwood.
If you didn't know about Corypheus, what were you doing with the Wardens?
The Templars in Kirkwall were using a strange form of lyrium. It was red. I'd hoped the Wardens could tell me more about it.
Corypheus had Templars with him at Haven. They looked like they'd been exposed to the lyrium you describe.
Hopefully my friend in the Wardens will know more.
On win? Może trochę. Przyjaciel, a on nie ma rodzeństwa czasami tam? Tylko tutaj chyba jest ta jak ona miała? Brianna? Czy jak jej tam? Coś na B. O, może właśnie. O nim mówi. To warto to
I'll
sprawdzić.
take any lead I can get at the moment.
Good. I'll do whatever I can to help. Corypheus is my responsibility. I thought I'd killed him before. This time, I'll make
Uwaga.
sure of it. Inquisitor.
Stack banana till the morning come. Daylight come and me one go home.
Dzięki za hosta czerwone. Co tam słychać? Nie. To już nie istnieje. Jak wejdziesz w klipy, to już tego nie ma.
You said you thought you killed Corypheus.
The Grey Wardens had him imprisoned. They used my father's blood in a ritual to seal Corypheus inside. But he could still reach out and influence the Warden's thoughts. He sent them after me. And I didn't just think I killed him. When the fight was done, he was dead on the ground. Maybe his tie to the Blight somehow brought him back. Or maybe it's old Tevinter magic. But he was dead. I swear it.
Nie wydaje się.
Assume Varric's been feeding you information about the Inquisition. What did he say about me?
Only good things, I promise. I was a little surprised, actually. Varric isn't one for religion in general, but he thinks highly of the Inquisition. I think the exact phrase was, has a good shot at fixing Blondie's mess.
I heard you had family and friends in Kirkwall. Where are they now?
My brother's a Grey Warden. I
Bra.
had my friend Aveline take him as far from Orlais as possible. When all the wardens started acting strangely, I had to keep my family safe.
To... Ja już nie wiem, co to jest za save. Nie pasuje do żadnego z tych, co mam w Dragon Keepie. Bo ten w Dragon Keepie mówią, że siostra przeżyła. No ale tu się zgadza z moim hołkiem z Dragon Age 2.
Where did you go after the mages rebelled?
I heard the Chantry might be sending an exalted march to Kirkwall to put down the rebellion. I hoped that leaving would save lives and force the Divine to divide her forces to come after me. As it turned out, I needn't have bothered. All the circles started rising up, and the exalted march never came.
I'd like to know more about Anders. What was he like?
I don't know if there ever was just an Anders. He was crazy. By the end, there was nothing left in him except this insane need to start a war no one could win.
We'll talk later.
I'll meet you at Crestwood.
No, stał się takim poważnym czempionem. Tak? Aha. Ale to tutaj jest różnica.
Let me know if you have any other questions. Otherwise, I'll meet...
We'll talk.
Right.
Westwood, tak? Dobra. Trzeba wydać wyrok w takim razie. A no tak, no to tutaj jest różnica. L do Z. Nie, aż tak. Za Andersem jednak nie tęsknię. Nie będę tęsknić. Chociaż mi się i tak nie pojawia. To dobrze, że robię idąc tutaj. Nie, tutaj nic nie ma. Możliwe, że właśnie po to idę. Alexius. Nie wiem, jak się inaczej tutaj dostać. Dobra, co tu się jeszcze na równinach? Nie, wyciszenie jest najgorsze, nie można wyciszać. Tak, tak. Wilbur. Oczywiście, że zasać nasiono. A, bardzo fajnie. Jest tu gdzieś punkt szybkiego przejścia? Jest. Oho! Tak jest, to jest moje miejsce.
Impressive, is it not? Fit for a leader, meant to show influence and the burden of it. It is where the Inquisition will sit in judgment. Where you will sit in judgment.
Who will I be judging exactly?
Those who have done wrong. You will know of them, at the very least. All this presumes they have survived their initial
No, tak
encounter
mniej więcej
with
widziałem już to. Jeszcze się tym nie bawiłem.
Still more lives in my hands.
You are a beacon of law, Inquisitor, as others retreat from responsibility. But this needn't be bloody. The Inquisition's sovereignty is derived
Tak
from
będzie.
allies who validate it. You are both empowered and bound. Justice has many tools. If their application is clever, execution may even seem merciful by comparison.
Pewnie w swoim pokoju taki ślimakowy dywan na ścianie. To by ładnie wyglądało.
Is there anyone I should judge?
Take the throne when you're ready. We will bring him before you.
Kiedyś tak będzie.
You recall Geryon Alexius of the Winter.
Tak.
Ferelden has given him to us.
Geryon
as
Alexius.
your aid.
Teraz
The
zróbcie
formal
klipa.
charges
O.
are apostasy, attempted enslavement, and attempted assassination on your own knife, no less. The Winter has disowned and stripped him of his rank. You may judge the former magister as you see fit.
To się nie odmienia. Alexius? A, on miał ten taki kaptur, czy tam czapkę taką kolcowatą chyba. Nie?
I remember what would have happened to Thedas if his treachery had succeeded.
I couldn't save my son. Do you think my fate matters to me?
Will you offer nothing more in your defense?
You've won nothing. The people you saved, the acclaim you've gathered. You'll lose it all in the storm to come. Render your judgment, Inquisitor.
Nie. On był... No i jest w sumie widać trochę niedobry. Ale... Też nie można mu odmówić tego, że miał motywację całkiem poważną. No i w sumie teraz cały czas cierpi. Ale no... Musiał się... Nie można... To nie jest aż tak do usprawiedliwienia moim zdaniem. Bo... Nie. Nie, Dorotki już nie. Zabijać nie chcę. Więzienie. No i niczego nie załatwia też. W sumie to będzie nieszkodliwy i on zazna... No, on przestanie cierpieć niby, ale też to będzie niczym egzekucja. Tak naprawdę obie opcje naraz. Do wyciszenia. Wiecie co? Egzekucja.
You served a monster, Alexius. There's nothing more to be said. You'll die now by my hand. Again.
What do you mean? Again? Inquisitor! Did the spell work?
Myślę, że wyciszenie niczego nie załatwia wcale. A to jest to samo właściwie co egzekucja. Tak naprawdę. Przydać, no dobra. Pokoje mieszkalne. To było chyba wcześniej zamknięte. Jak mi się zdaje? Czy nie? A, to będzie to zadanie Leliany pewnie. Bo są kruki.
They've certainly spared no expense.
Przyznać, że ładnie tutaj. Ogród. Ulepszenie dziedzińca, główna strażnica. Ryzykowna inwestycja. A, co tu mamy? A przyznać, że z rozmachem to wszystko. Zaznaczam wszystkie serduszka, jakie mi się pojawiają u każdego, także... Nie tak, bo to jest na górze. Ale fajnie wygląda. Dobra, to chyba jednak nie jest zadanie Leliany, żeby wejść do swojej sypialni. Ze wszystkim na razie gadałem po razie. Tej podniebnej twierdzy. A, niech powie, to widziałeś, co się dzieje w sądzie. Zakon wydaje się spoko. Jest, że inteligentny gość. Obawiam się, że zginie. Bo chyba się chce pchać na front. Ale doceniam. Może jakąś opinię co do mojej...
And what
O,
else did
Leliana
Lady
jest tutaj.
Forsythia say? That she'd rather drown herself than help the Inquisition. Anything else? She said she'd have us flogged alive if we allied with her brother. That does sound like her. Cheer up, Josie. We at least have her attention. You always do find
Josie.
the brighter side of things.
No, nie musisz iść,
We are
Lelian.
in the midst of cementing an alliance with Lady Forsythia of Navarra, your worship. It's become a somewhat delicate task.
Can I do anything to help negotiations?
Thank you, but I believe I have matters in hand.
Może nie
I
wszystko.
dissuaded her from sending soldiers while she learned we'd struck an accord with a brother she's feuding with. Lady Forsythia simply employs a colorful manner of speech.
Dealing with so many demanding, strong-willed people can't be easy.
It's no less intense than my days at court, Inquisitor, I assure you. But I confess I do miss my staff from the embassy in Antiva. It was always useful to discuss the day's visitors with them.
I have time, if you'd like to review things with me.
I wouldn't wish to impose.
If it were imposing, I wouldn't have offered.
Well, I admit there are a few potential alliances it would be good to discuss.
Jasne, omówmy to.
Right on the parlor floor, in front of everyone at the soiree. Who does such a thing in front of their guests?
The Duke of Kellington, apparently.
And then there's Cole's lurking. It frightens our guests half to death. Lord Jennar still won't respond to our letters. And Sarah, can she not find a single overshirt with that mustard taint on it? Then there's Dorian. The man refuses to take anything seriously unless it suits his
Tak,
whim.
Dorian.
Not to mention... Oh goodness. Have we been here an hour already?
Ten widok byłby dużo fajniejszy, gdyby miał lepsze detale. No i tak, dobra sytuacja.
It went by so quickly I didn't even notice.
You're far too polite. I didn't intend to go on for so long. You must think me quite the gossip.
Spending time with such an engaging woman is never unpleasant, Lady Montillier.
Goodness. I'm glad I haven't wasted your day. Well, I've taken up quite
No,
enough of your
miło.
time already. Until next time, your worship.
Do następnego. Co to za skrzywiona mina? Moim zdaniem wszystko idzie w dobrym kierunku. Dobra, spoko. Gdzie jest Dorian nasz? To nie było tu? A, tam jest.
So, Alexius is dead. All the good he
Dorian
once
nie
stood
popiera.
for, his integrity, his beliefs. He betrayed them all. I won't say he didn't deserve death. I just wish there'd been another way.
I'd like to ask you about Tevinter.
Ah, yes. Everyone outside the Imperium
Probably why they come up with so many ridiculous tales. Flying cows over Minrathous. That's madness. All right, that one's actually true, but the cows didn't have wings. I digress. Anything in particular you wanted to know?
To było tylko, że latały, a nie ze skrzydłami.
It seems strange.
Strange?
Dlatego tego wszystkiego nie słuchałem, nie?
Less qualified to rule than some tart with a Actually, the fiction in the Imperium, the Magisterium rules. That magisters are all mages is considered a convenient technicality.
What is the magic?
The upper house of the Imperial Senate, and the only part worth having a seat on. Those seats are split among the circles of Magi, the Chantry, and the major families. All It's odd that outside the Imperium, you use Magister like it applies to every Tevinter mage.
If you're not a Magister, then what do you call?
I'm an Altus, which is almost as good as a Magister, depending on who you ask.
Altus.
I've never heard of an Altus.
Upper class. Those families who trace descent from the Dreamers, the first. If you're a mage and you're not Altus, then you're later. Lower class. If you're not a mage at all, you're Soperati. That's everyone else. We do love our fancy words.
I thought the Archon ruled over the Imperium.
Well, yes. Technically, he can overrule laws passed by the Magisterium, but that never happened. Even so, he gets to appoint new Magisters, which means all the families vie madly for him. Thus, the Archon gets invited to all the parties. The truest path to
To fajnie być Archentem. Ej, magowie rządzą.
Mages do rule then.
Yes and no. Let me put it this way. Mages do rule, but not all mages are equal. If you're not from the right family, chances are you don't rule anything. Maybe. The idea that anyone could be a mage, however, keeps the masses placated.
Can anyone be a mage?
Technically, the potential runs mostly in bloodlines, but it's been known to happen. More importantly, commoners believe it can. Tevinter legend is chock full of mage heroes from humble origins. So they hold out hope. Someday my son or my son's son will be a mage. Someday. Poor sods don't realize that means he'll be a quaestor at the arse end of the 100 Pillars, at best.
Being a quaestor isn't a good thing.
I imagine the average non-mage likes to think so. Counting numbers and shuffling papers all day is better than many occupations after all. If you're a second-class citizen among a pack of piranha, however, your outlook changes.
Let me... Of
course.
There's an Imperial chant.
You people aren't supposed to talk about the Black Divine, are you? If you mention him outside the Imperium, people make that face. Like, but yes, we do have the Chantry, or a version of it. Night and day comparing it to yours.
Is the Imperial chant...
Not in theory. The main difference is in the whole magic is meant to serve Back home, ruling the unwashed masses is serving them. Perhaps it started with good intentions, but these days it's academic. The circles are in...
There are circles of...
We don't have dismal little mage prisons, if that's what you mean. They're academies, prestigious ones. We have Templars as well, but they don't cancel spells or whatever your Templars do. They're sold.
They don't use...
Ha! As if they'd be... They watch for abuse of magic, yes, but only those who are weak or who fall out of favor get dealt with. Mostly they enforce the
rozsądne, co tam robią,
The
właśnie.
Chantry smiles and nods from the sidelines.
A nie tak jak tutaj.
Do you really call him the Black Divine?
We don't call him that, oh no. In the Imperium, he's the true divine. The woman sitting on the sunburst throne is some back... It all stems from a disagreement over Andraste. Marvelous, isn't it?
Why would they disagree over Andraste?
It's not my field of expertise, but the Imperium believe... Down south, they say, no, she's the bride of the Maker. We feel better believing Andraste was one of us. So we elected a man as divine, The South declared war, and we've been feuding cousins ever since.
Boskiego. Kim jest boski?
So the Imperial
To jest
Divine is
boski.
always a man.
All the better to distinguish him from that. Don't think there aren't a number of female magisters who bristle at that. Why can't... Same reason you never see a man on the Sunburst throne. Because that's how it's always been done. Excellent reasoning.
Do you consider yourself Andrastian?
It might surprise you that I do consider myself... It is a relic, whether back home or here in the South. Something from a bygone age. It's not an opinion that makes me popular.
No to jest... tak.
I share your opinion, actually.
That's not surprising, considering what the I'll say this. I may not believe in the Chantry, but I believe in you.
In me?
That the Maker sent you.
Tutaj akurat
Whether
mądrze
through
mówi.
Andraste or fate. Cassandra is not wrong. You saw that in the future, without you, Corypheus prevails. You are our bulwark against evil.
Oczywiście, że jestem.
That's true. I feel the same.
Aye, someone's full of themselves, aren't they?
I was just
Don't agree on my account. A little doubt, wouldn't me? I've seen too much to believe I know everything. The world is bigger than
Ech, odpowiedziałem tak tylko dlatego, że w poprzednich grach było wszystko na mnie.
all the things we think we know. The Maker doesn't need me to believe, but I do. The thought of no one at all watching out for us is too frightening. So many questions.
Nie?
I'm wondering if the Imperial...
I'd think you'd be more concerned with... They won't, of course. At least, not officially. They'll disavow secretly. Many magisters will rejoice at the idea. And if the South falls to chaos in the meantime...
It would be in the Imperium's best interest to help.
I think the Imperium gave up on the idea of allies a long time. We've been fighting the Qunari for what? 200 years off and on? It's a point of pride that we go it alone. They'll sneer at the South behind their silk handkerchiefs and say, you've had it easy for far... Let's not forget that the Inquisition seems to be an arm of the Orlesian Chantry.
Jego poglądy naprawdę są rozsądne, trzeba przyznać.
We're not part of the Chantry.
You think that matters? The Herald of Andraste. Your very title smacks of the Southern Chantry. You may as well be a heathen. I think they're far more frightened what you'll do if you succeed.
Just how...
Oh,
Not at all.
that's what any magister would tell you. Of course, what people call blood magic here, and what we consider blood magic, are two different things.
What's considered...
Blood magic isn't inherently dangerous. The problem is that what's permitted only gets you so much. That's where we get into sacrifices. Behind closed doors, it's a different story. It's safe to assume that any mage of rank does it. The rest are quietly shut out of power.
You'd think that...
I imagine they'd... Once, their investigations might have been sincere. Nowadays, only the friendless are accused. Most of them probably innocent. Of course. Occasionally, there'll be a magister who makes noise. And then... Meanwhile, that magister will be quietly shunned. Most learn to keep quiet. Me?
Anyone who talks about the
Po
Imperium...
ostatniej lecimy na jakąś misję, bo
It's the center of the slave trade.
chcę coś zrobić dzisiaj. Gadanie jest fajne, ale...
Not personally, but my family does and treats them well. Back home, it's... how it is.
Ale też
Slaves are
przydałoby się
everywhere. You don't question it. Not even so
fabułą
many
trochę
slaves do.
pójść naprzód.
Well, we don't...
In the south, you have a... Back home, a poor man can...
45 minut gadania.
But do you honestly think inescapable poverty is better?
At least they're...
You think people choose to be... I don't know what it's like to be a slave, true. But I suspect you don't know either. Nor should you believe...
That's all I want.
A no nie wiem, dobra. Hej, live. Co tam? Spóźniłeś się na najlepsze 40 minut. Teraz będzie tylko nuda. Nie Sorasie, nie gadam z tobą.
Someone emptied a whole bag of turnips into the fat.
Sala. Tam jest.
Ah, Mecca, the smell is everywhere. I was going to use them for dinner and then...
Oj, dużo by gadać. A, gadać, wiecie? To mi się udało. Dobra, zapiszę. Oj, było romantycznie. Przez godzinę z Józefiną na balkonie. Przy panoramie potęgi gór.
Are you all right, Leliana? Are you? I suppose not. Haven was trying.
Ponad potęgi. Dobra, chyba jeszcze na ole coś ukończyłem. Tak. Pływy i wpływy.
Any news on rifts beyond reach of the Inquisition?
Yes. And it is not good.
Dobra,
Inquisitor?
wykorzystaj to. Skoro Kalen to popiera, to niech idzie.
All right.
W dowolnej chwili, czyli wydaje się, że to by było dobre.
Let's see what we have.
I co my tu mamy takiego najważniejszego? Szarżownik? Albo... Albo znajdź strażnika, tak? Wstrzymaj na torii na zachodzie. Nie wiem, która jest główna w takim razie. Strażnika. A, no może się udamy po tego. Przyjaciela, strażnika. Ołka. Krasnolud. Dobra, kogo my tu mamy w drużynie? Nie. Już się wpycha do drużyny ta Sara. Dobra. Ja się zastanawiam, czy chcę Warika, czy może wziąć Blackwalla? A, w sumie jest jeszcze Cole. Warik czy Cole? Blackwall. Szczerze mówiąc, to bym takiego drugiego walczącego wręcz chętnie wziął, żeby pomagał Kassandrze. I to chyba na nam Cola, bo on jest ciekawy. I zobaczyć jak to będzie u niego. No i jest łotrem, także też jakieś zamknięte drzwi, to on będzie mógł otwierać. Przynieś im drożdżówki, czemu nie?
Good to see you safe, Inquisitor. We've got trouble ahead.
Are the Red Templars here?
There's a few up in the hills, but for once, they're not our biggest problem.
What is?
Crestwood was the site of a flood 10 years ago during the Blight. It's not the only rift in the area, but after it appeared, corpses started walking out of the lake.
Naprawdę wszystko tu jest.
You'll have to fight through them to get to the cave where Sir Hawk's Grey Warden friend is hiding.
Have any undead attacked the camp?
We've had a few shamblers, but most head toward the village below. Maybe someone in Crestwood can tell you how to get to the rift in the lake. Maker knows they'll want help. Good luck, and please be safe.
A muszę tam rozdać umiejętności. Czemu nie ma tego kapelusika? Inkwizytor, czy to jest? A wiecie, no jednak matura to trochę jest ważna sprawa, nie? Myślę, że wcale takiego mniejszego rozgłosu by nie mieli, gdyby sobie zrobili to w grudniu na przykład. Nawet w styczniu. Chyba tą koncentrację wezmę. Chyba, że to odporność na magię. 2%? Czy to jest w ogóle... Czy to w ogóle cośkolwiek daje? Jakie tam mniejsze szanse? To samo by było. Zresztą jak są jakieś takie ogólnopaństwowe strajki, to wszyscy zawsze o tym gadają przez codziennie. I to nieważne w którym miesiącu. Więc to serio myślę, że akurat niczym nie zyskują, że akurat teraz się no to postanowi zrobić. A tak poza tym, to wezmę tą koncentrację, bo nie wiem co wziąć. O, tutaj autoawans będzie. No matko, co to są za rzecz? A, wszystko do łotra. O, ma 2 sztylety. O, chyba mam jakiegoś dobrego... Jakiś dobry tak, 200. Oho. Tak, koń jest tutaj nowym rozwiązaniem. Chciałbym porozmawiać o tym, co tu się wydarzy. Kim jest przyjaciel Hawka? Nie zamieniam jego kapelusza. On musi to mieć w tych swoich cutscenach. Ale ja... Mówisz, że ja miałem coś innego wybrać w tym momencie? Ej, komu jak komu, ale ten kapelusz jest wspaniały. On jest częścią Cola, tak? Tak, tak samo jak jajko jest częścią Sarasa.
Inquisitor, I've something for you.
Co tam?
What is it?
This may be worthwhile.
O, ja mam nadal tę moją tą sukienkę. Tarotko, o matko, ile tych... A, to wszystko dostałem od... no. Po pogadaniu z Dianami w ogóle.
Must be a way to get to the rift in the lake. You mean aside from wearing all your armor and wading in?
It sounds different. The water changes the song.
Polski Feniks. Zobaczymy, kto tu się pojawi. Widzę, że tutaj wszystko może być. Dobra. Powiem ci, że kusi już. Rozumiem coś kola? Tak.
The Grey Wardens thank you for your aid, Inquisitor.
Oboje są tymi? Nie atakuj.
Are you sure we can't help the village? Our orders are clear. If we can't find Warden Stroud,
Jeszcze nie skończyłem, jeszcze nie skończyłem.
Still don't feel right. I know, but if I judge our orders rightly, harder decision to wait.
None of those wardens mentioned a new leader. I don't think they're part of Corypheus's plot to seize the Order.
They didn't strike me as excellent actors, no.
I hope Hawke's warden friend has answers for us.
Powiem, że Cole naprawdę ma super wejście w tą grę. To jak się pojawił i też jak była rozmowa na tym dziedzińcu wszystkich. No i sama rozmowa z tym Colem. O tym, kim jest i w ogóle.
Did you see how the Grey Wardens saved me from those corpses? They're amazing. I'm going to see if they're looking for recruits.
Nie wiem, czy polecać ludziom dołączanie do strażników, szczerze mówiąc.
You want to join the Grey Wardens now?
Oh, Maker. You're the Inquisitor. But yes. The Wardens are heroes. They saved me from those demons, your worship.
Nie czytałem tych diablowych
I'd like
nigdy.
to help people the same way.
By joining the Grey Wardens, you can't think of something less lethal?
Nie rób tego. Ja myślę, że coś z tymi strażnikami jest nie tego. Oni się rozeszli w ogóle. Sami podróżują albo nie wiadomo co.
Find another way to help people. The Wardens have problems of their own right now.
Yes, your worship. I'm sure there's something else I could do to help. I swear I'll avoid the Wardens, Inquisitor. Thank you for the...
Szczególnie po tym, co mówił Blackwall. Że w sumie nie wiadomo, co jest z nimi. Raczej nie polecam. O! Myślę, że to się tak nie skończy wcale. Tutaj są obozy? Są. Znaczy jeden jest. Dobra. W sumie w Zaziemiu, jak tam wróciłem po Blackwalla, tam było jeszcze zadanie jakieś, ale były dwie dodatkowe szczeliny do zamknięcia przy tym zadaniu i jedna z tych szczelin była tak strasznie trudna i nie zamknąłem, bo pokonała mnie kilka razy. Tam moją drużynę właściwie.
Undead by the gates.
The guards need help.
Tam jest chyba trochę klimat. Tak jak to miasto, do którego trzeba się było udać w Origins, które było takie opustoszałe. Ta wioska. Tak, przy świątyni. No i właśnie to przypomina ten taki klimat tego miejsca. Mhm, tak właśnie.
Why doesn't Judith live in the village while this is going on? Make
Yeah.
her, if something happens.
Jest Judith.
Are you looking for someone named Judith?
Oh, was I speaking out loud? Judith lives outside
Nie.
the village.
Weszliśmy tutaj i sobie gadałeś do siebie nadal.
She wouldn't hear it.
Why wouldn't she hide where it's safer?
Zbieram zadania, które będę wykonywał off-stream pewnie.
She turned me down. And to
No, co tu się...
find your own shelter.
Cassandra pewnie nie może tego swoją tarczą wyłamać.
Maker, it's the end of the world. Maker, it's the end of the world.
Kto to mówi? A, ktoś ten, wewnątrz.
It's not safe to work the fields.
Oj, niebezpiecznie, potwierdzam.
Please, may I use your assistance?
Mistrz.
The Inquisitor. Oh, Mayor Dedrick of Crestwood Village. At your service, despite everything. Are you here to stop the undead?
Tak, właśnie po to tu jestem.
We could. Everyone here is so scared.
Brzmi...
The undead are appearing because of a rift in the Fade. How can I get to it?
The light in the lake. Farewell.
Coś myślę, że po prostu... odszedł za daleko.
Your worship? Is there any way to stop the dead from rising?
The undead are appearing because of a rift.
The light in the lake? It's coming from the caves below Old Crestwood. Darkspawn flooded it 10 years ago during the Blight. Wiped out the village, killing the refugees we took in.
I saw a dam. If we use it to drain the lake, I can get to that Fade rift.
Drain the... There must be some other way.
We are trying to help. The Inquisitor is the only one who can close the rifts.
You'd have to evict the bandits in the old fort to use the dam. I can't ask you to risk your life.
Trust me, I fought worse than bandits and the undead.
Then I have no choice. This key unlocks the gate to the dam controls past the fort.
Działa? A w sumie to jest stary już.
Must be in the caves under Old Crestwood. But, Inquisitor, I would not linger there.
Będę musiał zaktualizować.
Tell me about...
It's seen. We farm what we can, trade with them. We only want peace, your worship. It's all we've ever wanted. The highwaymen, thugs and thieves, when the dead
Wreszcie jakieś emocje mi. Zacząłem myśleć, że to jest ten nieumarły.
took it for themselves. We could have saved people if we'd able to hide there instead.
I'm surprised a town as small as...
It was a close thing. Some of the refugees were... They perished when the Darkspawn flooded Old... They found... And now...
Tak, muszę iść. Wydawało mi się na normalną rozmowę. Nie wiem, czy coś nie pominęło. Grałem. Pamiętam, że było strasznie trudne.
Inquisitor. I am Sister Vaughn. Does the mayor finally plan to drain the lake? I must find someone to retrieve the remains of those lost there.
Coś tam można znaleźć nie tego pod jeziorem, myślę.
What did you mean by finally drain the lake?
The undead returned only after the light in the lake appeared. If we want to stop them, we must investigate. But the mayor sent no one at all. I fear he thinks that emptying the waters would unleash even more monsters on us.
Co tam jest pod tym jeziorem? Dobra, dzięki, że wpadłaś. Miłej nocy. Ja też muszę rano wstać, więc pewnie jakieś do północy i też lecę. Dla mnie jeszcze Island zbyt ciężkie było, żeby w to grać drugi raz. Do jutra.
Have I interrupted a funeral service?
We lost many friends in the first attack. The fear is how many more will be added to the pyre.
You want to...
They were the Maker's children. Their earthly body. A funeral service will help put living minds in.
Your devotion does you credit, sister.
Forgive me. I did not expect to see...
Be at ease. We have...
Yes, Seeker. As you say. Farewell.
Kogoś przypomina? Jest wiele takich. Znaczy podobnie wyglądają poprzez strój. Tak w sumie tylko twarz widać. Do szczeliny czy do obozu? Chyba już nie dojdę do obozu. Zamknijmy szczelinę. Coś nowego? Nie. Myślałem, że nowa ziółka. Oj tak. Wiecie, nie jest super. Ale maj jest najlepszy. Ja zawsze co roku czekam na maj. To jest wtedy mój ulubiony krajobraz w roku. W tamtej szczelinie za ziemię był jakiś demon, który strzelał zimnym kamieniem, który wszystkich zabijał cały czas. O, widzę, że poziom. Jaskinia. Czyli tam jest ten przyjaciel. Myślę, że raczej kiepsko z dojściem tam. W ogóle mogę tędy iść? Jest jakieś przejście? Może tędy się idzie? Właśnie. Na tym kierunku. A, wejdę do tej jaskini. Zobaczmy. Grzyb głębinowy, to jest chyba nowe. Te. Świecące grzyby w jaskiniach. One są wspaniałe. Okej. To ty się... Dobra, czy jednak potrzebujemy jakiegoś zadania, żeby cokolwiek tutaj zrobić. A co to jak wyglądają? Królik? Nie była świnka? Dobra, nie, no to wrócę do miasta. Ale nie wiem, czy to już było jakieś wyjście na południe.
May be with you, Inquisitor. Thank you for all.
A jest, da się. Chodź jednorożcu. Albo nie. Koniku z mieczem w głowie. To łatwo. A czerwony rym. Chyba zbliżamy się do celu. Albo raczej mogą tu być czerwoni templariusze. Którzy też są celem, tak właściwie. Na czerwono? Ja chcę tak z tym walczyć. Chyba najpierw walka.
Are we going to camp?
Jasne. Dobra. I myślę, że to jest idealny moment zdobycie tego obozu, aby na dzisiaj sobie kończyć. Kontynuacja pewnie w sobotę wieczorem, a jak nie to w niedzielę na pewno. Także dzięki wszystkim, którzy wpadli. Trochę za dużo gadałem na początku, ale to były dobre rozmowy też, także to nie to, że to było niczym, także nie mam pojęcia ile, bo pierwszy raz tak gram. Dobra, miłej nocy wszystkim.
They pull around the veil, pulled by power, then push through to see